Hello, welcome to the Ita-Wt Google Maps based navigation tool. The tools as it is, it's Google Maps based, so you can expect similar features as you have in Google Maps. So you have here in the bottom right corner the zoom. So you have the plus for zoom in and the minus for zoom out, and you also have here the map and satellite options. So whether you select one or the other, it's up to you. Here in the left side, you have the legend, which we have created. You can move the legend with this, just left clicking here and holding the click and just displacing the legend bar. You can also hide the legend should you need more space for visualization, and you can show it again. So let's move it over here again. You have four different sections here in the tool. First, you have the threads, which are related to the anthropogenic threads we have analyzed in our modeling approach. We have the bioclim layers, which are a set of 19 bioclimatic variables derived from monthly data, monthly temperature and rainfall data. And we have species individual results, and we also have summaries in which we comprise species richness grids and protected area network. So first of all, we go to threads. Say we have the clear bottom, and we have a set of different anthropogenic threads. So we have population accessibility, and each of these threads represents the likelihood of each pixel to be threatened and by this particular thread. So in this case, the more red the pixel, the more likely to be threatened. So here we have the legend from 0 to 3. That's the scale of our thread. And we have the opacity bar. We can change the opacity as we want should we need to visualize other layers, one layer on top of each other. So we can clear this layer out and we can select any other layer. So should we want to select and visualize any other of the modeling inputs used here, we can do it. So we can visualize any of the layers as we want, and we can also clear again the map. So now we go to bioclim, and we have the same clear button, and we have the set of bioclimatic variables. So all the bioclimatic, we have 19 bioclimatic variables, each of those representing a different indicator. Very often these indicators are related to growth and development of plant and animal species. So that's why we use this particular set of layers in our modeling. Uh, Within the variables, we have the annual mean temperature, the mean diurnal temperature range. We also have the mean temperature of the warmest quarter. We have all the precipitation indicators, such as precipitation of the driest month, of the driest quarter. We also have the precipitation of the warmest quarter, for example, which is an index relating temperature and rainfall at the same time. And so we can select this layer, any of these layers. We can just visualize the legend. And in this case, the annual mean temperature in South America goes from -9 to 29 Celsius degree in the year, and we can change the opacity as well. So we have this red scale for temperature, and we have, in the case of precipitation, we have a different color scale. So here we select the total annual precipitation, and we can see here that the total annual rainfall uh, in South America goes from 0 to 1,000 millimeters, and we can also change the opacity. So we can clear out this, and we can now go to the species. So in the species menu, we have a search button. In the search button, what we have, if we click there, what we will see is just this small window in which we have a close button here in the corner, and we have a search box. We also have the different species types we used in the modeling. So if we if we want to search a species, we just type the name, type in the name. In this case, we want to search, let's say, Phaseolus. So we have the list. Here we select Phaseolus mossus. Types, we click on search, or we just type and enter, and we click on Phaseolus mossus. So we have the occurrence records to visualize here. We also have the convex hull, which is just a polygon around the occurrence points. We have a convex hull buffer, which is a 300 kilometer uh, buffer around the initial convex hull. And we have the species distributions. So we have three different species distributions here. The first one is the raw species distribution, which is the probability of finding the species over each of those pixels. And in this case, we have a probability from 0 to 1 of finding the species over there. So we can change the opacity as we want. And we can just turn off this layer, and we can select any of the other species distribution related layers. The other species distribution related layer is the species distribution limited to convex hull. So this means that we have just cut the original species distribution to the areas where the convex hull says the species is present. So we did this because we think that if we use the broad species distribution as it is from the modeling, we might be overestimating the niche of the species. So we just keep the species distribution as close as possible to the occurrence points without under and overestimating the species niche. And we also have the threshold species distribution. In this case, we have used the rock-based approach to select the threshold approach. This is just a probability threshold with which we have just binned the species distribution, and we can visualize any of these outputs together at the same time. So in this case, we have, for example, the species distribution, the species distribution limited to convex hull plus the the threshold species distribution. Or we can also just put the convex hull on top of this layer. We can change the opacity as well in this threshold species distribution layer, and we can manipulate it as we want. Uh, Here in the species submenu, we also have show info button. With this show info button, what we will see if we click there is the information of the species. So we wait until this loads, and in the time being, we will see what the clear button does. So if we go to clear, we clear the species we are visualizing. So we click on search again, and if we want to just browse a species that we want, we just go and click over the species group we want to search. Let's say we want to search for mammals, and then we want to search here for Canidae. Then we click Canis, then we click Canis familiaris. In this case, we have occurrence records over here, and we have the convex hull, and we have all the same features as we already have seen in the previous section. So we wait until this loads, it's not loaded yet. We click clear again, and the species is gone. So we follow on to summaries, and in summaries we have the protected areas network at first, which is not loaded yet, but it's supposed to be. And we also have all the individual species richness grids, which are these. So we have plant species richness, we have mammal species richness, reptile species richness, amphibian species richness, insect and bird species richness. And we also have a final total species richness layer. So we can visualize any of these layers and see the legend And we can see in the case of birds, the maximum species richness is about 800 species, whilst in insects, it is about 112 insects. So, and the distribution is somehow different. So we can overlay these layers, we can change the opacity as well, and we can do any sort of visualization with this type of data. So the protected areas unfortunately are not loaded yet in the tool, but they will be soon. And in this case, what we will visualize is these green areas with an info point, and in every info point will show us the, the species which are present in each protected area. So far, this is the Google Maps based navigation tool jointly developed by Cia and Ita-Wt. Thank you.